Hello, John here again. What I want to do today is just kind of talk about the Bisaddle. Been looking at this for a while. Finally decided to go and pull the trigger. Ordering a new bike as well, so I'm hoping this will go with the new bike that I have coming in back. So I got the SRT and the EXT Stealth combo. So it came with the EXT Stealth kind of set up already. I got the chromoly base instead of the carbon or anything else. I wasn't doing an unboxing, but I'll go ahead and just kind of talk about everything and save some time. So again, it comes with the EXT Stealth. I got the Stealth. The big difference is there, I believe the Stealth versus the other one is just the increased divot there in the middle. I've been a big fan of ISM saddles for a while, so I'm really interested and excited about this because I've had trouble getting a good fit on my ISM. So instead of just keeping on buying saddle after saddle, I just want to get this. It's a little more expensive, but hopefully it's kind of one saddle to rule them all, I'm hoping. So it comes with the EXT Stealth, the frame, of course, already attached. Also, again, here's the SRT, which is I'm going to go to actually. It comes with a crayon and a piece of cardboard for doing your sit bone measurements. I'm going to do that again. I'll show you how we do that. It also comes with 2 wedges. It said not to use the wedges unless you definitely have trouble getting a good fit. I have heard a lot of people say there's kind of one wedge that makes it rounded, a little more rounded, and one kind of makes it a little more concave. Right now it's fairly flat. I've heard a few people who really like the kind of concave because it helps kind of sink into the saddle. So right now I'm not going to use the wedges. They recommend only use the wedges if you have trouble getting a good fit without the wedges. So I am going to go ahead and try it without the wedges. Like I said, what I'm going to do right now is take the EXT Stealth off and put the SRT on. Because this is the one I really want to try out. When I looked at my ISM saddle, this one's just a little bit longer. I've had some problems in the past with thigh rub with the ISM on longer distances, so that's why I'm kind of excited about the short SRT one to try it out. So I also have, of course, my handy Lezen torque wrench because it does recommend, I'll check in the instructions to be sure, but I do believe it is 3 to 4 nanometers tightness on this, so I'll double check. It also comes with the instruction book. I've already got my measurements on my bike, and I'm going to bring my bike trainer up here in just a little bit and actually put it on the bike and show you how that works as well. I'll kind of just talk about the setup. So what I'm hoping today is go from all the parts and pieces to actually riding on the bike. All right, let's go ahead and start taking this apart. I'm going to put the SRT saddle on. I'm going to use this just to get it apart, and then I'll use the torque wrench once I double check the settings and what the tension should be. Interesting, as you see, it moves in this. Then also, yeah, there's actually 2 methods of adjustment. It'll actually go from almost pretty much together to all the way out. It's got a very wide range of adjustment. That's some pretty wide sit bones. So, there we go. While we've got it off, let's just go and take a look at this real quick. Looks really well made. These are, again, made in USA in Utah. I don't have any connection with Bisaddle. Just always happy to talk about a company. I've read good things about this. I'm hoping to be a good product. I like how it's got kind of sandpaper there to keep it from moving around so much, to kind of keep the saddle from moving around. It looks like a nice little addition. Looks very well made and stiff. Again, kind of plastic up here on the top. It looks very well reinforced. All right, let's go ahead and put our other bottom piece on. So, since I'm going to do my measurements, I haven't actually tightened it down yet, but as you can see, still a nice wide range of adjustment. Depending on what your sit bone size is. It does have a nice trough here in the middle for all the soft part that doesn't need to be squished. So, all right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this here now. I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. I'm going to do my sit bone measurement. I will set up and we'll do that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually measure my sit bones. The kit comes with a little piece of cardboard. You can use any kind of cardboard you need, and a crayon. You use a crayon, chalk. What we're going to do is once I sit down, you'll see the indentions. Just kind of makes the indentions pop out by going over them. And then get as close to the center of the sit bones as you can. And then we get the distance. And the book that comes with the Bisaddle as well also has a handy dandy little centimeter guide. And we'll talk about what it adds once I do that. So I'm just going to take this, set this down on a nice flat surface. I'm going to get my sit bones right on it. There we go. And so one thing to mention is about the way you ride, kind of bend forward like you ride, sit there about 15, 20 seconds, kind of get your feet up a little bit. You know, I'm not a race rider, so I'm usually more of a comfort rider, kind of like this. So sit here for just a second. All right, let's go ahead and get up. All right, there in the middle. That's not working, so I'm just going to take this, kind of put a little black dot on both of those. So there are my sit bone indentations. You can kind of see where they are, so I'll take my centimeter guide here. It's a little easier than using a tape measure. So as you can see, I'm right around about 11 centimeters. And one thing it says in the book as well, and it talks about this in some other videos and setups that I write about, your riding position. If you're pretty arrow tucked in, leave it at exactly that. If you're a little more relaxed, one, a little more relaxed than that, two, all the way to kind of straight up, kind of comfort, kind of hybrid cycling, then go add 4 centimeters to that. So what I'm actually going to do is probably go out to 2. I'm going to start that there. So again, I go back. I'm right under 11, so I'm going to go to 13 centimeters when I set up my actual bisaddle. So, all right, so now I'm back. I've already loosened up my former saddle. This is the ISM saddle. I actually have measurements off my main road bike, so I'm going to go by those measurements. I actually make some adjustments on this as I go. So I'm going to finish taking this bad boy off. So, a couple of things to notice too. It is a much shorter saddle. So I'm going to try this out, see how this works for me. Also, you can tell it's a little wider. It's not drastically different. But again, these are kind of starting settings. Well, I'm excited to see how this is going to work. See how well it's going to go. So now I'm just going to put this bad boy on and get it basically tightened. All right, and I want to keep it basically, I feel like it fairly flat, so I have my level. Loosen it up a little bit. All right. There we go. All right. Now the instructions, well, I don't want to tighten it up just yet, so I'll make sure I get my distance here. All right, so my fore and aft I already measured. What you want to do is measure from the thickest part to your handlebar. That'll work. That's 32 inches. That's where my main road bike is at. So now I'll go ahead and tighten this down. Keep it at 0. Get it back to 0. There we go. All right. So the booklet says we're going to tighten this down to about 9 or so newton meters. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down to right about there. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to adjust the height. I think my height, this is a trainer again I keep in the basement for just winter riding, was a little low. Yeah, I need to take it up a little bit. That should give me a much more comfortable ride. So that is the basic setup. Now I'm going to try it on my trainer. Once I get it set up on the trainer, when we get closer to spring, this is going to be my main road bike, my main gravel bike, road bike combo. So I will do a review later on after I get a few hours on it, get a few miles, get some time on it, and let's see how it goes. All right, so now we're back. About 2 weeks after the initial setup, I've got about 200 miles, about 10 hours on it on the trainer. This is actually it now. So when I measure my sit bones, I was about 11, 12 centimeters. So I set about, I think, 13, 14 centimeters when I first started. And now I'm right up to about 15 and a half, almost 16 centimeters on its widest part. And what I did is I would ride for about 5, 10 miles on the trainer, adjust it. I kind of went in and out a little bit. I was a little wider than this, but then I kind of brought it in just a little bit. And actually, I think I'm a little asymmetric. That's one thing the instructions said was don't be afraid to kind of adjust. It's one of the great things about the Bisaddle. It's got the ability to go asymmetric. So I am just a little asymmetric. My right is actually pulled in just a little bit more. If you compare my right and left, my left is out just a little bit more, which is odd because I actually kind of took the right out a little bit. And through my adjustments, that's kind of worked out for me. Everyone's a little different. So far, I really like it. It is new and different. Some people say it's kind of life-changing for the first time they ride it. It took me a little while to get comfortable and get kind of in the flow of it, get it adjusted right. But now that I've gotten about 10 hours in, it's definitely comfortable. I think my body's getting used to it. I think anytime you change the saddle, there's a little bit of an adjustment period. Even if it's perfectly fit to you, every saddle's a little different. This is actually the old ISM saddle that I was using on my trainer. This is a little longer than the one I have on my actual road bike out in the garage I ride on. As you can see, it is a little shorter, quite a bit shorter actually. And also, if you look at the widest part, it's kind of hard to see, but you can definitely see it is a little wider than what I had. I knew this was a little too narrow for me. This, I think, is a little narrower than the other ISM I have on my main road bike out in the garage right now. This week in Kentucky, you're supposed to get up to about 50 degrees. I'm hoping I can get out and put this on my actual road bike and try it out. Because the geometry of my road bike and my trainer are a little different. My road bike is more comfortable than my trainer, so I think there'll be even a bigger difference once I actually get out on the actual road bike. So I'm excited about trying it out. I definitely recommend adjusting it. So far it's worked out well for me. I definitely like it much better than the older ISM. And I think I'm going to like it better than my other ISM on my road bike. Once I get it set up, I'm sure I'll probably adjust it some more. I do love the adjustability. I love how it's kind of separate front and back. It seems to be holding it very well in place for me. No issues. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe I'll kind of zoom in here a little bit. Still have quite a bit of an adjustment range because, again, there's the adjustment here. Then also on the actual piece. So this is the EXT, the other one that came with it that I'm not using. You can actually see there's some adjustment range slider here as well as a saddle. So it'll actually go quite wide. And of course on the front there's actually 2 adjustment holes there. We can kind of choose which one to go into. So it's got quite a wide adjustment range, even though on the saddle I'm kind of on the edge on both of those. But I've still got a lot more of this on the actual saddle itself left if I needed to go wider, if you wanted to go wider. So it is getting more and more comfortable. The longer I'm on it, the more adjustments I'm making. I'm not having to adjust much now. Probably the first 5 hours, 100 miles roughly, I was adjusting probably every 5-10 miles, just playing around to get it comfortable for me. But today I did a 2-hour base level ride on the trainer. I only adjusted it once and just barely a little bit inside, and that really helped to kind of hopefully finalize it. So far it's working well. I'm happy. I like it. I think it's definitely, it's not a cheap saddle, but I like the fact that it's adjustable. So hopefully this is the one saddle to rule them all kind of thing. I'm going to stick. Don't be afraid to adjust it. Like I said, I did some quick adjustments every 5 or 10 miles. And also don't be afraid to be asymmetric. It's kind of hard to see. I'll see if I can zoom in there. But you can definitely see when you look at the marks there that my left is a little farther out, because the one thing the instructions did say is that everyone's a little asymmetric. And also then the book, one thing too, said add between 0 and 4 centimeters depending on your riding style. I've read in other areas from other people to go a little wider. Don't be afraid to go wider. I think that's a good recommendation I saw in many other sources online is, it's your body, it's your saddle, it's your comfort. Everyone's a little different. Go with what makes you comfortable. So for me, going a little wider may be more comfortable. So just try it out and see what you think. I like it so far. Hope that helps someone out there that's on the fence about getting one. I enjoy it. I like it so far. I'll try to come back once I get outside a lot more, especially once I get my new Revolt in, my new gravel bike. I think this will be a good complement to that for longer rides in the